There are objects on this planet that should not exist, artifacts that shatter our timeline. We call them OOPArts, out-of-place artifacts. We have found analog computers in 2,000-year-old shipwrecks. We have found precision-cut stone blocks that modern cranes cannot lift. But these are recent. These are young. In the desolate, high-altitude emptiness of China's Qinghai province, near the barren Tibetan plateau, we found something that redefines the word impossible. We found pipes, a network of metallic, seemingly manufactured pipes. Some small, some as wide as 1.5 feet in diameter. They are not lying on the ground. They are not buried in soft sediment. They are embedded inside a mountain, fused with the ancient rock itself. And the date of that rock? The Pleistocene era, 150,000 years old. 150,000 years ago, Homo sapiens had only just begun to migrate out of Africa. Our most advanced technology was a sharpened piece of flint. We were not smelting iron, we were not building infrastructure, and we were certainly not installing a complex plumbing system inside a pyramid-shaped mountain in the middle of nowhere. This is the story of the Baigong Pipes. It is not just a mystery of who built them. It is a mystery of why the official story seems so intent on convincing us they are not real. This is a fracture point in our history. This is zero-point lore. The story begins, as many of these do, with a search for something else. In the late 1990s, American scientists, following clues from satellite imagery, were searching the remote Qinghai Basin. They were looking for dinosaur fossils. What they found instead was a mountain, Mount Baigong. A strange, pyramid-shaped anomaly, 2,000 meters high, standing alone in the basin. At the foot of this mountain, they found 3 triangular caves. 2 were collapsed, their entrances buried by time. But one was still open. A team of Chinese scientists from the state-run Xinhua agency was sent to investigate in 2001. When they entered the cave, they found what they first described as an industrial site. The cave floor and walls were not natural. They were covered in a network of rust-colored pipes, dozens of them, all protruding from the ancient bedrock. But the system didn't stop at the cave. The scientists followed the pipes. They found more on the mountain's exterior. They found them running down the slopes, and they found them on the shores of Lake Tosan, a saltwater lake just 80 meters away. The pipes seemed to link the pyramid-shaped mountain to the saltwater lake. The discovery was shocking. The scientists had stumbled upon what looked like the ruins of an ancient factory. A 150,000-year-old factory. They took samples. They had to know what these were. They sent them to the Beijing Institute of Geology for analysis. And the results, too, would only make the paradox deeper. The scientists had found the what. They had the where. They had the when, but they had no answer for the who or the how. The samples were in the lab. The official narrative of human history was on trial, and what the lab found would force a choice. Either our history is wrong, or the pipes are something else entirely. When the Beijing Institute of Geology analyzed the samples, they were not looking for aliens. They were looking for a simple, natural explanation. They did not find one. Here is what the analysis revealed. The pipes were not lead. They were not copper. They were not a modern alloy. They were composed primarily of iron oxide, silicon dioxide, and calcium oxide. But the iron was not raw ore. The analysis suggested it had been smelted. The pipes were the product of advanced metallurgy. This was impossible. The Iron Age began roughly 3,000 years ago. These pipes predated it by 147,000 years. But that was not the most baffling discovery. The lab report, released by Xinhua, stated that the pipes also contained 8% unidentifiable material. Let us be very clear about what unidentifiable means in geology. It does not mean we were lazy. It means that 8% of the material's composition does not match any known element or compound in their extensive database. It was alien. Not necessarily from space, but alien to our planet's known natural geology. The evidence was now stacked. A complex, interconnected network made via advanced, ancient metallurgy, embedded in 150,000-year-old rock, containing 8% material unknown to science. This was not a primitive artifact. This was infrastructure. The structure itself defied nature. Natural formations, like geodes or lava tubes, are chaotic. They are random. They are not uniform. The Baigong pipes were different. The scientists who found them noted their remarkable uniformity. They were almost all the same diameter. They ran in parallel lines. This was a system. It was designed, and it was not human. This conclusion terrified the scientific world. And so, the search for any conventional explanation began. The problem? Every official explanation they offered was more unbelievable than the mystery itself. The evidence was on the table. A 150,000-year-old industrial site. The orthodox narrative was fractured. Science had to seal the crack. They had to find a way to make the Baigong Pipes natural. Their first attempt was tree roots. When a discovery threatens the foundations of history, the first line of defense is to naturalize it, to find a mundane explanation, no matter how contorted. The first and most popular official explanation for the Baigong Pipes is fossilized tree roots. The theory is called the ephedra hypothesis. It goes like this. 150,000 years ago, this area was warmer. Trees, perhaps an ancient species of ephedra, grew here. Their roots pushed deep into the ground. When the trees died, the roots decayed, leaving behind hollow tubes in the sediment. Over millennia, iron-rich minerals seeped into these hollows, forming a hard, metallic cast. The result? Pipes that look artificial, but are 100% natural. Case closed. Except, this theory is nonsense. It fails to explain anything. First, the material. Fossilization does not smelt iron. It does not create uniform, high-purity iron oxide. And it absolutely does not explain the 8% unidentified material. Second, the structure. Tree roots are chaotic. They taper. They branch randomly. They do not grow in parallel lines of uniform diameter. They do not connect a mountain to a lake in an industrial-style grid. The ephedra hypothesis is not science. It is a fairy tale, created to dismiss an inconvenient truth. When the root theory failed, the skeptics pivoted. Their second explanation: geological venting. This theory argues the pipes are hydrothermal vents, or magma tubes. Essentially, superheated, mineral-rich magma from deep within the earth forced its way up through fissures in the sandstone, cooling into hollow, pipe-like structures. This is an even worse explanation. Again, it ignores the evidence. Magma tubes are made of basalt and volcanic glass. The Baigong Pipes are smelted iron, and like roots, magma vents are chaotic. They follow the path of least resistance. They do not create a uniform, grid-like network. The natural explanations are not just weak. They are less plausible than the artificial one. They require us to believe that Mother Nature, in one single spot on Earth, decided to violate all known laws of geology, chemistry, and biology to perfectly mimic a 20th century industrial plumbing system. It is a desperate attempt to avoid the only logical conclusion left. If the pipes are not a freak of nature, we are left with only one terrifying reality. They are artificial, and if they are artificial, then our 150,000-year-old timeline is wrong. This opens two doors. Behind one is a version of humanity we were never supposed to discover. Behind the other is something else. Let us accept the evidence. The pipes are 150,000 years old, and they are manufactured. Who made them? We are now in the realm of the unorthodox, the realm of the 0 point. Theory 1. The lost human civilization. History tells us that 150,000 years ago, our ancestors were primitive. But what if history is wrong? What if we are not the first advanced civilization on this planet? What if a pre-Diluvian human or hominid civilization existed? One that rose and was then wiped from the map by the cataclysms of the Ice Age? If so, what was this facility at Baigong? Let's look at the components. A pyramid-shaped mountain, a potential power source or beacon, a saltwater lake, a chemical resource, a system of pipes, transport, a high altitude, remote location, secrecy, or perhaps a specific atmospheric requirement. Was this a water processing plant? A geothermal power station? A chemical weapons factory? The 8% unknown material could be a byproduct of a lost industrial process. This theory is staggering. It would mean our entire model of human development is a lie. But it is the less strange of the two theories, because 150,000 years ago, Homo sapiens were not the only humans on Earth. The Neanderthals were in Europe. The Denisovans were in Asia. Could one of them have built this? The evidence is silent. But it points to intelligence. Theory 2. The paleocontact theory. Visual. The camera slowly pushes in on a photograph of the black, star-filled sky over the Qaidam Basin. This is the theory the locals believe. Local legends in Qinghai speak of the outsiders who came from the sky. They say the Pyramid Mountain was a launch or observation post. This is the extraterrestrial, or paleocontact, theory. In this scenario, the Baigong facility was not human at all. It was an autonomous, robotic, or manned outpost, perhaps a resource-gathering station. The salt water from Lake Tosin could have been harvested for minerals. Perhaps it was a simple beacon, guiding ships in the ancient sky. This theory also explains the evidence. It explains the advanced metallurgy. It explains the remote, high-altitude location. A perfect spot for an observatory or spaceport, and it provides the most chilling explanation for the 8% unidentifiable material. It wasn't a byproduct, it was the signature, the proof, the part of their technology that simply does not belong to this world. A 150,000-year-old calling card. We are left with two paradigm-shattering options: a lost human civilization, or an alien outpost. Both are impossible, and yet, one of them must be true. This is the heart of the zero-point lore community. We are not afraid to ask these questions, and we need more voices. If you believe our history is hiding secrets, if you believe the official story is not the whole story, then subscribe to this channel. Join the investigation. And now, we want to hear your theory. In the comments below, tell us, what do you believe the Baigong Pipes are? Are they the last remnant of a lost human high technology, swallowed by the Ice Age? Or are they the definitive proof that we were not alone? Let us know, because the final piece of this puzzle is not the pipes themselves. It is the disturbing, organized, and total silence around them. The Baigong Pipes are one of the most profound discoveries in human history. So, why have you never heard of them? Why, in 2025, are there no new, high-resolution, peer-reviewed studies? Why is this site not protected by UNESCO? This is the most unsettling part of the story. The answer is, the Baigong Pipes discovery was not lost. It was buried. In the early 2000s, this was a major story, reported by China's official, state-run news agency. This was not a fringe blog. This was the government. Scientists were baffled. Geologists were arguing. The story was exploding, and then it stopped, suddenly and completely. After 2007, the story vanishes. The official reports are scrubbed. The scientific debate goes silent. The ephedra root theory, the weakest theory of all, is quietly floated as the official explanation, and the case is closed. But it gets worse. What happened to the site? The Chinese government did not turn it into a protected archaeological zone. They turned it into a tourist trap. They built cartoon statues of aliens. They put up cheap signs. They turned the most important mystery on Earth into a roadside attraction. Crucially, reports from the few Westerners who have tried to visit say the real caves, the ones with the real pipes, are now restricted, inaccessible, closed for repairs. The tourists are shown a few ambiguous pipes on the lakeshore, while the source, the Pyramid Mountain facility, is off limits. It is a classic tactic of obfuscation. You cannot deny the discovery. The original reports are out there, but you can ridicule it. You bury the profound, paradigm-shattering evidence under a layer of kitsch, concrete aliens, and cheap souvenirs. You make the mystery silly. The samples? They have vanished. The Beijing Institute of Geology has never published a follow-up. They have never identified the 8% unknown material. The data is gone. The great silence. The evidence was too disruptive. The implications were too terrifying. It was easier to label it a geological anomaly, build a gift shop, and quietly walk away. The pipes are real. The dates are real. The 8% unknown material is real. So what does this mean? It means our entire timeline of civilization is wrong. It means the official story is just that, a story. And when we stand at Baigong, we are standing at the fracture point, the 0 point. where that story breaks, we are left with a paradox. The Baigong Pipes are a 150,000-year-old industrial network. The natural explanations are scientifically bankrupt. They are a logical fallacy, designed to protect an outdated timeline. The artificial explanations are impossible. They rewrite human history, or they introduce a non-human architect. When the official story and the impossible truth are equally unbelievable, you have arrived at the 0 point. The Baigong Pipes are not just a geological curiosity. They are a message. They are the ruins of a civilization that we have no record of. A civilization that mastered metallurgy and engineering, while our ancestors were chipping stones. The true mystery is not what the pipes are. The mystery is, what happened to the builders? Were they a lost branch of humanity, wiped out by the coming ice age, leaving only this single, strange factory behind? Or were they visitors who stopped on our world for a time, used its resources, and left? We may never know. The evidence has been buried, not by 150,000 years of rock and time, but by 20 years of human denial. The Baigong Pipes are a question, aimed directly at our timeline. They are the definitive proof that our history is incomplete. They are the proof that we were not the first.